All right, so parents out there, I got a story for you, for in case any of y'all's having a kid or whatever. So check this out. Long story short, when Lily was being born, these doctors at where we had our baby told us that she was having multiple seizures, right? Okay. Well, she had these seizures like in 10 minutes when we were watching her the entire time. Like, me and Beth were always with her for hours and hours and hours, and this never happened. It happened like 10 minutes. We weren't there one time, right? So I told Beth, I was like, I think they're full of shit. I said, I want to see proof. Well, it took them 3 days to show us what they claimed was proof. And it was our daughter moving her arm. And that was their proof. And I said, well, who said that this is a seizure? So this lady, who is not a neurosurgeon at all, she come in and told us, well, on the EEG machine, this, that, and the other. So I start reading the EEG machine, and she's like, wait, you know how to read one of these? And I was like, yeah. She's like, are you an engineer? I said, yeah. She goes, oh. I said, are you a neurosurgeon? She goes, no. I said, okay, well, get a neurosurgeon to tell me stuff about neurological shit. So she went and got somebody. Okay? Well, I said, you know what? I was like, I want the video, because they have like video playing like over where your baby's at and all this stuff. Well, come to find out, some stupid motherfucker shut her oxygen cord, pinched it shut in the crib for a couple of minutes until it was fixed. And I was like, oh, you see that? And they were like, oh. So anyway, me and Beth ended up taking Lily to a different neurologist, an actual neurologist, and he was like, there's nothing wrong with your child. And we were like, that's what we thought. So they give her, the Vanderbilt end up giving her this medicine called Keppra to prevent seizures, right? Okay. Well, the actual neurologist we took her to was like, you know, the amount of Keppra she's been taking is not enough to stop seizures. She hasn't had one. What I'm getting at is they wrongfully diagnosed our daughter for seizures when she wasn't even having one, never actually had one. So going back to, you know, her being in an incubator and being on an EEG machine and all that, during the process where I ended up getting my lawyer down there, and I was like, I want this motherfucking video. They was like, well, it's 8 hours. It's a terabyte. It's big. It's a terabyte. I said, I don't care. Just want the whole video. Well, come to find out, during one of her seizures, if you don't know this, an iPhone emits like, I forgot how many watts of like electricity or whatever, but it emits electricity. And during watching this video, this nurse is bent over and has her phone right beside my kid's head, and it spikes the EEG machine. And they're like, oh, no seizure. No, just a big texting her boyfriend, that's all. So while they got me and Beth extremely worried, and our family worried, and they're like, man, seizure. Not one seizure ever happened. She moved her arm. Her oxygen cord got pinched in the thing. And some young ass woman was texting her boyfriend with her phone right beside the EEG receptors. Bro, don't believe what these say. Stick around and just watch and observe and document everything. That's what I did. I documented every tiny little thing that happened. And when they realized I was doing that, they all started getting worried. So while we were there, they kept telling us, they were like, well, you know, you don't have to stay in here with your baby all night. You don't have to. And we're like, we know, you told us that like 12,000 times. What part of we don't give a do you not understand? We slept in the room. We did shifts. Me and Beth did. Me, Beth, and the guards. She was never by herself. And it's almost like they were irritated that we were good parents or something. Then, this one lady, this one gremlin looking mother, hands me paperwork to our kid, right? We're sitting there reading it. We realize, hey, look, they have the parents listed as some people we don't even know. The doctor, or whoever, the lady who realized she the paperwork up, come back in there and asked me for it. And I said, no, I'm not giving it to you. I'm keeping it. I'm mad as when I told her no, she's like, well, I got to give you the right one. I gave you the wrong one. I said, yeah, I know. I'm keeping the wrong one and the right one. This lady forced herself on me and like tried to wrestle the paper out of my hand. An assistant was in the room and she turned around and she goes, what are you doing? And I said, look at her. I was like, look at this. This is assault. She stood up. She looks at me. She goes, you know what? Have a nice life. And I said, I will. And she walked out of the room. Even the assistant was like, yo, what the that about? So while all this is going on, right, we're finally leaving Vandy. And I had already been watching this really weird ass lady in the food court of Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital. It's like there's like a little Taco Bell / pizza place right there. And she'd been sitting in the same spot every day that we were there for like 5 to 7 days. And I was like, why is this lady sitting here? She obviously don't have a kid with her. She's not like going and staying up in a room with a child or nothing like that. She's just sitting here and she's just sitting on her phone behind this pillar. Well, we're going to leave and Beth wants something to eat. So we stopped there and I noticed the lady was still there. I sat down and I'm watching the lady through the reflection in this thing. She's sitting behind me. So I got Lily in my arms. I got her little carrying thing at my feet and I'm looking through this like reflection and I'm watching her. I was like, if this lady, I told my guard, I said, if this lady takes a picture, I was like, I'm gonna snap. So I'm sitting there holding Lily, watching, pulls her camera up, takes a picture. I turn around and she looks at me and goes, oh! And I said, hey, take her phone and see if there's a picture of Lily in it. So my security guard snatched her phone, opened her phone. There was a picture of my daughter in there, the one that I just thought she took. And guess what else was in there? A picture of a bunch of babies and a bunch of I'm not kidding. I'm being for real. This lady proceeds to speed walk it out the hospital. She don't have a car there or nothing. She goes out the door. She gets on a transit bus outside Vandy and she dips. Little did she know, I had a guard that was with me that followed her and sat behind her on the bus. And ended up going to a nasty part of Nashville with no kid. So what the fuck was you doing inside the hospital? So a couple days after this, I'm not going to say their name, but I know a couple people that work in Vandy. And they were like, hey, I really need to show you this because this is way out of the norm. I said, okay, what is it? They sent me an email between a group of doctors that we interacted with while we were there that up some shit. And in their email, this is Vanderbilt people, they said, hey, long story short, they were like, we have to watch this Ryan Upchurch guy and follow him on social media to make sure he don't say nothing too out of the way. Yes. So what I'm getting at is, watch your surroundings when it has to do with you and your kid when it's being born. Because these motherfuckers are creepy and weird. Okay?